The school that only exists at night. At exactly 11:47 p.m., Google Maps told us to turn onto a road that did not exist. We thought it was a glitch. The kind of thing phones do when you drive too far into the mountains and the signal starts dying. The road wasn't on the paper map. It wasn't on the county survey. It wasn't even visible through the windshield. There was only forest, black trees, frozen ground, a wall of fog sitting between the pines like it had been waiting for us. Then the phone spoke again. In that calm, ordinary voice people trust too easily. "Turn right," Jenna laughed from the back seat. "Into what? A murder?" No one answered, because the headlights had just caught something between the trees. A sign. Old, wooden, half-rotted, covered in moss and frost. Blackwood High School, home of the Wolves. Underneath, someone had painted a second line in red. Class begins at 11:47 p.m. My name is Daniel Ross. I am telling this story because everyone else who was with me that night is either dead, missing, or insists they were never there. I know how that sounds. I know what people say when they hear stories like this. They ask for proof. They ask for police reports. They ask why anyone would go inside a building after seeing a warning like that. The answer is simple. We were young enough to believe fear was something you could turn into content. There were 5 of us in the car. Me, my girlfriend, Jenna Vale, my best friend, Marcus Reed, a quiet photography student named Elise Porter, and Tyler Knox, who owned the camera equipment and believed every abandoned place was either a future documentary or a future lawsuit. We had spent that winter filming forgotten buildings across northern Pennsylvania, old hospitals, closed factories, a burned church, a hunting lodge where someone had scratched Bible verses into every window frame. We called the channel After Hours Archive. It had 8,000 subscribers, which was enough to make us feel important, and not enough to pay for gas. Blackwood High School was supposed to be our big episode. Tyler found the story first. A high school that burned down in 1981. 126 students dead. 4 teachers, 1 janitor. The fire had supposedly started during a late-night winter formal. But when Tyler dug deeper, the facts became strange. There were no surviving photographs of the building. No official fire report. No list of the dead. No address that stayed consistent across sources. Some articles said Blackwood was in Pennsylvania. Others placed it in West Virginia, Ohio, or upstate New York. One archived newspaper headline read, "Blackwood students still missing after fire." Another, dated 1 day later, read, "No record of Blackwood High School ever existing." Tyler loved that. "That's the hook," he said. "A school so cursed even history tried to delete it." I should have stayed home that night. We all should have. But at 9:15 p.m., we met in the parking lot of a closed grocery store, loaded camera bags into Tyler's SUV, and drove north into the hills. For the first 2 hours, everything was normal. Bad music, gas station coffee, Marcus making jokes, Jenna editing captions for our social media post, Elise staring out the window taking blurry photos of trees. Then, at 11:31 p.m., the GPS changed. It stopped guiding us to the abandoned municipal building Tyler had entered as our destination. Instead, it displayed one line, Blackwood High School, ETA, 11:47 p.m. Tyler frowned. "I didn't search that." Marcus leaned forward from the passenger seat. "Probably cached from your research." "No, I never had an address." Jenna lifted her phone. "I don't have service." Neither did I. Neither did Marcus. Elise quietly said, "Mine has 1 bar." We all looked at her. Her phone screen was black except for a map route drawn in thin white lines. No roads, no labels, just a route through darkness. At 11:45 p.m., the paved road ended. At 11:46 p.m., the fog appeared. At 11:47 p.m., Google Maps told us to turn right, and Blackwood High School appeared between the trees. Not ruins, not ashes, not a foundation, a school. 3 stories of dark brick and tall windows, a central clock tower, long front steps, flagpole, gymnasium wing, Cafeteria windows glowing yellow. Every light inside was on. The clock above the entrance read 11:47. Not moving. Always 11:47, Tyler whispered. Holy hell. Marcus laughed, but it sounded wrong. That's not burned down. Jenna grabbed my hand. Daniel. What? Look at the parking lot. There were cars. Dozens of them. Old cars. Station wagons. Boxsedans. Pickup trucks. All from the late 70s or early 80s. Covered in frost. Parked neatly in rows. The nearest license plate had expired in 1981. Elise raised her camera and took a picture. The flash reflected off every school window at once. For half a second, silhouettes filled them. Students. Hundreds of students. Standing inside every classroom. Looking down at us. Then the flash faded. The windows were empty again. Nobody spoke for a long time. Then Tyler turned on the main camera. Okay, he said, voice shaking with excitement. This is insane. Jenna stared at him. You're not serious. This is exactly why we came. No, we came to film ruins. Look at it. I am looking at it. He checked the camera battery. This could make the channel. Marcus groaned. That sentence is how people die. Tyler ignored him. We go in for 10 minutes, establishing shots, main hallway, maybe one classroom. Then we leave. Elise lowered her camera. What if there are people inside? Tyler pointed toward the old cars. Then we asked them how they time traveled. No one laughed. I wish I could say I was the voice of reason. I wasn't. I wanted to leave. But I also wanted to know. That is the dangerous part of fear. It does not always push you away. Sometimes it pulls. The front doors were unlocked. They opened before Tyler touched them. Warm air rolled out. The smell hit first. Floor wax, chalk dust, old paper, hot cafeteria food, something sweet like punch. And beneath it all, smoke, very faint, almost hidden. The lobby looked untouched by time. Glass trophy cases lined the walls. A painted mural showed a wolf mascot, running beneath the words. Blackwood Wolves never quit. A bulletin board announced, Winter Formal tonight, December 18th, 1981, Gymnasium, 8 p.m., Marcus whispered. Nope. Tyler filmed everything. Blackwood High School, he said to the camera. Allegedly destroyed in a fire in 1981. We are inside what appears to be. The PA system crackled. All of us froze. A bell rang. Not loud, not electronic. An old-school bell. 3 clear notes. Then a woman's voice spoke over the intercom. Good evening, students. Static. Please report to first period. Jenna whispered. We need to leave. The front doors slammed shut behind us. Marcus tried them. Locked. Tyler stopped filming. For the first time, he looked scared. Okay, he said. That's not funny. A second bell rang. Down the main hallway, classroom doors opened. One by one. Click, click, click. Warm yellow light spilled onto the floor. We stood in the lobby, not breathing. Then footsteps began. Not running, not approaching. Walking in dozens of directions. Shoes squeaking. Lockers opening. Paper rustling. Teenage voices whispering. But the hallway was empty. We could hear a school day starting around us. We just couldn't see the students. Elise raised her camera. Don't, I said. She took a picture anyway. The flash exploded white. This time, the hallway filled. Students in 1980s clothes stood at lockers, carrying books, laughing, passing notes. A girl sprayed hairspray into her bangs. A boy in a Letterman jacket leaned against a locker. 2 teachers talked near a doorway. Every face was blurred, not motion blurred. Missing. The image lasted only as long as the flash. Then the hall was empty again. Elise dropped the camera. The developed image on the digital screen remained. The hallway full of faceless students. And in the center of them, standing between 2 lockers, was Marcus. Smiling, Marcus stared at the photo. Delete it. Elise didn't move. Delete it. She deleted it. The PA clicked again. Attendance will now be taken. A classroom door at the end of the hall opened wider. Room 113. Inside, desks sat in perfect rows. A chalkboard read, "Welcome back," Tyler swallowed. "We need another exit." "Gym doors," Marcus said. "Schools have side exits." We moved down the hall together. No one wanted to pass room 113. As we did, a teacher's voice came from inside. "Daniel Ross." I stopped. Jenna pulled my sleeve. "Don't," the voice repeated. Daniel Ross. Not threatening, not ghostly. Bored, like a teacher calling roll. "Present," it asked. Marcus whispered, "Keep walking." Then another voice. A teenage boy. My voice at 17. "Here." My legs went weak. Inside the room, a chair scraped. The teacher continued. "Jenna Vale." A pause. A younger Jenna answered. "Here." Marcus Reed. "Here." Elise Porter. "Here." Tyler Knox. "Here." The chalk snapped. The teacher's voice said, "All accounted for." The classroom door slammed shut. Every locker in the hall opened at once. Inside each locker hung a backpack, a jacket, books, personal items. One locker directly beside me had my name taped inside. Daniel Ross, grade 12. I opened it before anyone could stop me. Inside was a denim jacket I had owned in high school. Same tear near the collar. Same cigarette burn on the sleeve from a party I never told my parents about. A yearbook rested on the shelf. Blackwood High School, class of 1981. I opened to the senior portraits. There we were, all 5 of us. Hair different, clothes different, but unmistakably us. Daniel Ross, Jenna Vale, Marcus Reed, Elise Porter, Tyler Knox. Under each name, one word. Absent. Jenna slammed the yearbook closed. "Stop touching things." Too late. The hallway lights flickered. A distant crowd began cheering. Music started somewhere deeper in the school. A slow song, muffled. "From the gym," Tyler said. "The winter formal." Marcus grabbed him by the jacket. "We are not filming the dance. I'm not saying we film it. I'm saying people died there." "Exactly. We need to find the exit." "The exit is behind us. The front doors are locked." Jenna snapped. "Then break a window." We tried. Every window on the first floor looked like normal glass. It felt like stone. Marcus hit one with a fire extinguisher until his hands shook. Not a crack. Not a scratch. Outside, the glass was not the parking lot anymore. Only black trees. Then, from somewhere beyond the reflection, a student pressed both hands against the outside of the window. Faceless, wearing a burned tuxedo. He tapped once, then pointed behind us. We turned. Room 113 was open again. The desks were occupied. 30 students sat with their backs to us. A teacher stood at the chalkboard. Tall woman, gray skirt, white blouse, hair pinned tight. She wrote with slow, careful strokes. Lesson 1. Do not miss class. Tyler lifted the camera without thinking. The teacher stopped writing. Her head turned. Not her body, just her head. Too far. Almost backward. She had no face. Only smooth skin where features should have been. A mouth opened in that blank surface. Not a real mouth. A tear. It said, "You are late." Every student turned around. None had faces. The hallway erupted into motion. We ran. The school did not make that easy. Hallways stretched. Corners moved. Staircases appeared where there had been trophy cases. Doors changed labels as we reached them. Cafeteria became chemistry. Chemistry became detention. Detention became home economics. Behind every door, we heard something different. Crying. Laughter. A basketball bouncing. A fire alarm muffled underwater. Someone repeating the alphabet backward. Marcus found the stairwell. Up or down? Down, I said. Exits are down. We ran downward. 1 flight. 2, 3. The stairwell should have ended. It didn't. The painted numbers on the wall changed. 1, 0, -1, -2. Jenna stopped. Schools don't have minus floors. From below us, a crowd of students began reciting in unison. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Elise whispered. They're counting us. We ran back up. The stairwell door opened onto the second floor, or what looked like it. The hallway was lined with student art, hundreds of portraits. Every portrait showed a faceless person sitting at a desk. At the end of the hall, a projector clicked in a dark classroom. A film reel flickered. Tyler, still holding the camera, moved toward it. Tyler, don't! He didn't answer. He entered the classroom. We followed because leaving him alone felt worse. The film showed the 5 of us driving. Our car! That night. From above. Then from behind. Then from inside the trunk. Jenna whispered, "No!" The film cut to us entering the school. Then standing in the classroom, watching the film. On screen, I turned toward the back of the room. So did I. A student sat in the last row, faceless, holding a notebook. It raised the notebook, written on the page, "We have been waiting for your class." The projector bulb exploded. In the dark, Tyler screamed. Lights came back. He was gone. His camera lay on the floor. Still recording. Marcus shouted his name. No answer. On the chalkboard, fresh words appeared. Tyler Knox transferred. Below that, grade incomplete. Jenna started crying. Elise picked up the camera. The playback screen showed Tyler running through the hallway alone. Only he wasn't alone. Students walked beside him. Faceless students. He looked straight into the lens and whispered, "If you see me again, don't let me graduate." Then the footage cut to black. We found him 20 minutes later in the cafeteria. At least we found something that looked like him. The cafeteria lights were bright. Steam rose from trays of food. Pizza squares, mashed potatoes, green beans, chocolate milk. Everything smelled fresh. Tyler sat at a table in the center of the room with a lunch tray in front of him. He stared straight ahead. "Tyler," Marcus said. Tyler smiled. "Hey guys." Jenna took a step toward him. I held her back. His smile widened. "You should eat. Lunch period is almost over," Elise whispered. "What happened to you?" Tyler looked confused. "What do you mean? You disappeared." He laughed softly. "No, I didn't." Marcus walked closer. "Stand up." Tyler tilted his head. "Why?" "Stand up." Tyler's mouth trembled. For a moment, the real Tyler surfaced. His eyes filled with terror. "Don't make me." "Tyler!" His voice dropped to a whisper. "I'm not finished." Then the cafeteria filled with students. They appeared in every seat, faceless, silent, all holding trays, all facing us. A lunch lady behind the counter rang a small bell. "Visitors must be served." The students stood. We ran again. This time, Tyler ran with us, or followed us, or chased us. I still don't know. Behind us, the cafeteria students began clapping in perfect rhythm. Clap, 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 like an audience waiting for a performance to begin. We reached the library and locked ourselves inside. For a few minutes, it felt safe. The library smelled of dust and old glue. Rows of shelves created narrow aisles. Tables sat beneath green lamps. The checkout desk held stacks of index cards. Elise leaned against the door, breathing hard. Marcus shoved a chair under the handle. Jenna wiped blood from her lip. Tyler stood near the encyclopedias, too still. "Tyler," Marcus said. He looked over. "Yeah? What did you mean when you said you weren't finished?" Tyler blinked. "I didn't say that." Jenna looked at me. He smiled again. Not his smile. The PA system crackled softly inside the library, though there were no speakers. Library period begins now. Every book on the shelves shifted. Spines turned outward. Names appeared. Ross, Daniel Vale, Jenna Reed, Marcus Porter, Elise Knox, Tyler. There were shelves for each of us. I pulled my book before I could think. It was thick. The title read, Daniel Ross, Revised Edition. Inside were memories, not written like a biography, written like assignments. Chapter 1, First Lie Told to Mother. Chapter 4, Things He Did Not Say at Father's funeral. Chapter 8. Why he stops loving people before they can leave. I dropped the book. Jenna had opened hers. She was crying silently. Marcus refused to touch his. Elise read with a blank expression, turning pages faster and faster. "Elise," I said. She didn't answer. "Elise," she whispered. "It knows everything." Tyler stood behind her. "It grades everything." Marcus grabbed Tyler and slammed him against a shelf. "Where is the real Tyler?" Tyler's face twitched. For a second, his mouth opened too wide. Then he laughed. "You always hated him." Marcus froze. Tyler continued. "Because he had money. Because he got views. Because Jenna liked his ideas better." "Shut up." "Because you wanted Daniel to need you." Marcus punched him. Tyler fell, but when he looked up, his face was wrong. Not faceless. Worse. Unfinished. Features shifted under his skin, trying to remember Tyler correctly. Elise screamed. The library door burst open. A school bell rang. The faceless teacher from room 113 stood outside. "Fighting in the library," she said. "Detention." The floor beneath Marcus opened. He dropped through before any of us could grab him. His scream faded downward. Then a door appeared between two shelves. "Detention." Jenna was already running toward it. I caught her. "No. Marcus is down there. That's what it wants." She shoved me. "We can't leave him." The door opened. Inside was a classroom with one desk. Marcus sat in it, hands folded, eyes forward. A man stood behind him. His father. I knew him from photos. Marcus's father had died when Marcus was 12. He placed one hand on Marcus's shoulder. "Tell them you're fine." Marcus spoke without blinking. "I'm fine," Jenna sobbed. The father smiled at us. "He's learning discipline." The door slammed shut. Marcus's name appeared on the library wall. Marcus Reed suspended. Jenna hit the door until her fists bled. It never opened again. The library lights dimmed. Elise whispered, "We need the principal's office." I turned to her. "What?" She held up a page from her book. It showed a floor plan. At the center of the school was a room labeled Administration Permanent Records. Under it, handwritten in red, "All graduates must be filed." Jenna wiped her face. "Graduates?" Elise nodded. "Maybe that's how it keeps them." Tyler stood slowly from the floor. His features had settled back into place. Almost. "We should go there," he said. I aimed Marcus's dropped flashlight at him. "You're not Tyler." He smiled sadly. Neither was Tyler by the end. Jenna whispered, "What are you?" He looked toward the shelves. A rough draft. Then he ran into the dark aisles and vanished. We left the library through a rear door that led to the faculty hallway. The school was louder now. Classes in every room, voices reciting, lockers slamming, sneakers squeaking in the gym, music from the winter formal rising and fading like a heartbeat. But we still saw no one unless lights flickered. That was when the students appeared. Flash, a boy at a water fountain. Dark burns across his sleeves. Gone. Flash, girls whispering near lockers. Hair smoking. Gone. Flash, a teacher crawling along the ceiling. Gone. At the end of the faculty hallway stood the principal's office. The door was oak, newer than everything else. The nameplate read, Principal y Harrow. Elise stopped. "Harrow. Our school principal was Harrow, too," I said. She shook her head. "No, mine," Jenna whispered. "Mine, too." We all looked at one another. Different towns, different schools. Same principal. The door opened. Inside was a normal school office. Secretary desk, filing cabinets, photocopier, coffee maker, a framed motto on the wall. Education is remembering what you are told to forget. Behind the inner office door, someone typed on a mechanical typewriter. Click, 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 a voice called. "Come in." Principal Harrow sat behind the desk. He looked exactly like the man I remembered from high school. Gray suit, thin hair, narrow glasses, small smile. Jenna whispered, "That's impossible." Harrow looked up. "Most education begins there." He gestured to 3 chairs. Sit! Nobody did. He sighed. Students rarely appreciate procedure. I forced my voice steady. What is this place? School. No. Yes. He folded his hands. Perhaps not yours, not originally. But all schools become the same eventually. Elise asked, Where are our friends? Learning. Learning what? What everyone learns here. He smiled. How to remain. Jenna stepped forward. Blackwood burned down. Many times. What does that mean? Harrow opened a drawer and removed a file. The tab read, Blackwood High School, Class Continuity Project. He placed it on the desk. The first Blackwood was a school, he said. Brick, wood, poor wiring, bad luck. December 18th, 1981. 131 dead. You said first. Fire destroys buildings, not routines. He leaned back. Every day, students repeat rituals. Bells, lines, lessons, names, attendance, grades, punishment, praise, fear, shame, desire to belong, desire to leave. Do you know how much human memory is trained inside schools? We did not answer. Enough, Harrow said. Enough that something heard it. The PA system hummed. Something, he smiled. The building burned. The pattern did not. Elise whispered. You're not Harrow. No. Then what are you? A principal. His smile widened. A position matters more than the person. He opened 3 more files. Daniel Ross, Jenna Vale, Elise Porter. Inside mine was everything. Birth certificate, report cards, photos, essays, dental records, a graduation picture from Blackwood High. I had never worn that cap and gown, but there I was, smiling beside Jenna, Marcus, Elise, and Tyler. All of us older, all of us with eyes scratched out. Harrow said, You are almost ready. For what? Graduation. Jenna slammed both hands on the desk. We are leaving! Harrow looked almost kind. You already tried. He pointed to the wall. A security monitor blinked on. It showed us entering the school, then running, then hiding, then finding the office, then sitting in the chairs. I looked down. We were sitting, all 3 of us. I didn't remember doing it. Jenna screamed and jumped up. Elise remained seated. Her eyes were glassy. Harrow turned to her. Elise Porter. She answered softly, present. Would you like to see your final project? She nodded. A cabinet opened. Inside stood Elise. Another Elise, faceless, holding a camera. The real Elise smiled. I understand now. Jenna grabbed her. No, you don't. Elise looked at us with terrible peace. It's not killing us, it's organizing us. Her face softened, blurred. She walked toward the cabinet. I tried to stop her, but Harrow raised one finger. The floor grabbed my shoes. Not hands. Floor. Sticky as tar. Elise stepped into the cabinet beside her faceless copy. The 2 became one. The cabinet closed. Her file stamped itself. Elise Porter accepted. Jenna screamed her name. Harrow looked at us. 2 remaining. The office door opened behind us. Marcus stood there. So did Tyler. Both smiling. Both wrong. Jenna backed away. Harrow said, Some students require remedial work. Marcus spoke in a flat voice. Daniel, you always leave first. Tyler added, Jenna, you always follow. Jenna gripped my hand. Don't listen. But Harrow was watching me. You want to save her, he said. Yes. No. You want to be the kind of person who saves her. The words landed too precisely. That's different. The room darkened. Behind Harrow, the office wall became a window. Through it, I saw the gym, the winter formal. Students dancing under paper snowflakes. Music playing. Then smoke. Then fire. Doors chained shut. Teachers pounding windows. Students screaming. But behind the flames stood something else. Tall. Black. Patient. Watching the panic. Learning the bell schedule. Learning names. Learning how children obeyed when adults told them where to sit, when to speak, when to leave. The fire did not create Blackwood. It gave something a classroom. Harrow whispered, Education never ends. Jenna pulled me toward the door. The floor released us. We ran past Marcus and Tyler into the hall. They did not chase. They did not need to. The final bell rang. Every classroom door opened. Students poured into the hallway. Hundreds. Faceless. Silent. All moving in the same direction. The gym. The winter formal music grew louder. Jenna and I ran against the flow. Students brushed past us. Each touch stole something small. My address. My first teacher's name. The smell of my grandmother's house. Jenna cried out, "I can't remember my sister." "You have a sister," she sobbed harder. "I don't know." At the end of the hall, a red exit sign glowed. We ran toward it. The sign changed. Graduation. Then PROM. Then detention. Then finally, home. Jenna stopped. The door beneath it opened. Behind it was her childhood bedroom. Pink walls. Posters. A younger Jenna sat on the bed crying. An older woman stood in the doorway. Her mother. Jenna whispered, "No." Harrow's voice came over the PA. "Every student chooses a door." I grabbed her hand. "Not that one." Her eyes filled with tears. "I never said goodbye." "It's not her." "I know." The younger Jenna on the bed looked up. "Then why does it hurt?" Jenna's grip loosened. I pulled her away. "She came with me." That saved her for maybe 3 minutes. We reached the auditorium. Rows of seats faced a stage. On the stage stood 5 chairs. 3 were occupied. Tyler, Marcus, Elise, all wearing graduation robes, their faces nearly smooth. A 4th chair had Jenna's name. The 5th had mine. Above the stage hung a banner. "Congratulations, class of 1981. The auditorium filled behind us. Faceless students, faceless teachers. Harrow walked onto the stage carrying diplomas. "Please be seated," Jenna whispered. "Daniel." I looked at her. Her face was changing. Not much, just softening at the edges, like a photo losing focus. "Don't let me sit down," she said. "I won't." "Promise?" I did not answer. She smiled sadly. "Good." The auditorium lights dimmed. A spotlight found us. Harrow announced, "Jenna Vale." The students clapped. Jenna stiffened. Her body turned toward the stage. I grabbed her. She fought me, not because she wanted to, because the room wanted her to. "Jenna!" Her eyes found mine. For 1 second she was herself. Then she shoved something into my pocket. "Run when they call you." "What?" She kissed me. Then she walked to the stage. I tried to follow, but every student in the aisle turned toward me, blocking the way. Jenna sat in her chair. Harrow placed a diploma in her hands. Her face vanished. Not violently, not with blood. It simply became blank. The crowd applauded. I couldn't move. Harrow turned toward me. "Daniel Ross." The spotlight tightened. Every faceless head turned. "Please come forward." My legs moved. 1 step, then another. I reached into my pocket and felt what Jenna had given me. Her lighter. A cheap silver lighter she carried everywhere. I remembered her using it outside diners, behind bars, in parking lots after bad arguments. I remembered teasing her about quitting. I remembered loving the way she cupped fire from the wind. Fire! The first, Blackwood, burned, and still it feared flame. I flicked the lighter. A tiny flame appeared. The auditorium recoiled. Not the people. The room. Walls bending away. Seats screaming. Harrow's polite face cracked. "Open flames are prohibited." I held the lighter to the diploma in my hand. I hadn't realized I was holding one. It caught immediately. White fire raced across the paper, then up my sleeve without burning me. The auditorium lights exploded. Students screamed without mouths. The stage curtains ignited. Harrow shrieked, and for the first time, he sounded less like a principal and more like something enormous, trapped inside a small job title. The exit doors burst open. Beyond them was the lobby. The real lobby. Dark. Abandoned. Ruined. Snow blowing through broken windows. Jenna stood on the stage, faceless, holding her diploma. I ran toward her. Harrow grabbed my shoulder. His fingers were chalk. His eyes were bells. His mouth was a classroom full of children whispering my name. You cannot leave before dismissal. I drove the burning diploma into his chest. He caught fire like dry paper. The whole auditorium burned white. Not orange, white. Memory burning, routine burning, names burning free. Jenna turned toward me. Her face flickered. For 1 second I saw her. Terrified. Human. Go, she whispered. No. Daniel. The fire spread between us. Behind her, Tyler, Marcus, and Elise stood from their chairs. All three raised one hand. Not waving, saying goodbye. The ceiling collapsed. I ran. I don't remember crossing the lobby. I remember the front doors standing open. I remember cold air. Real cold air. I remember falling down the steps into snow. I remember looking back and seeing Blackwood High School burning. Not as it had appeared, but as ruins. Collapsed brick. Charred beams. A building destroyed decades before. Inside the flames, silhouettes stood at every window. Hundreds of students. One teacher. One principal. And Jenna. I screamed her name. The clock tower struck 11:47. The fire went out. The school vanished. Not collapsed. Vanished. The forest stood empty. Only our SUV remained in the snow with its doors open and hazard lights blinking. Police found me at dawn wandering on a logging road. I was barefoot. My hands were burned. My hair smelled like smoke. They found no school, no road, no sign, no evidence anyone else had been with me. Tyler's SUV was registered to me. The camera equipment was mine. The photos on Elise's camera were blank. The memory cards were corrupted. The police thought I had killed them. For a while I thought maybe I had too. Grief is generous that way. It offers you guilt when answers are unavailable. Search teams found nothing. No bodies, no footprints, no burned foundation, no Blackwood High. Eventually the case went cold. The internet did what the internet does. Called it a hoax. Called me a murderer. Called Jenna and the others fake. Then people found yearbook scans. Not online archives. Physical books in libraries, estate sales, antique stores. Blackwood High School, class of 1981. Sometimes Tyler was in them. Sometimes Marcus. Sometimes Elise. Sometimes Jenna. Never all at once. In one copy, I appeared as senior class president. In another, I was listed as deceased. In the worst one, Jenna and I stood together under the caption, "Cutest couple." Our faces were scratched out. I stopped searching after that. Years passed. I changed towns, changed jobs, stopped telling the story. But Blackwood did not stop teaching. Every December 18th at 11:47 p.m., my phone opens Google Maps by itself. No matter where I am, no matter whether the phone is on or off, a route appears. Always different roads, always the same destination. Blackwood High School. I never follow it. Not anymore. But I watch the estimated arrival time. Sometimes it says 12 minutes, sometimes 4 hours. Once when I was in Denver it said, "You are already here." That night every light in my apartment flickered like fluorescent bulbs in a school hallway. I slept in my car. 3 years ago, I married someone else. Her name is Claire. I told her the story before we got engaged. Not the whole thing. Enough! She believed that I believed it. That was kind of her. Last year our daughter was born. Mia. She has Jenna's eyes. I know that is impossible. I also know what I see. 2 weeks ago, Mia came home from preschool with a folded paper in her backpack. She is 4. Too young for high school. The paper was cream-colored. Old. At the top, in black letters, Blackwood High School admissions office. Below that, "Dear Mr. Ross, congratulations. Your child has been accepted for early enrollment. Orientation begins December 18th at 11:47 p.m. Attendance is mandatory." I burned the paper in the kitchen sink. Claire watched without speaking. That night our smart speaker turned on by itself. A school bell rang. Then a voice I had not heard in years spoke from the device. "Jenna." Soft. Far away. "Daniel, don't let her graduate." The speaker melted. The next morning, Mia drew a picture at breakfast. A big brick school. A clock tower. 5 stick figures standing in front. One had no face. I asked who they were. She pointed with her purple crayon. That's Daddy. That's Mommy. That's me. That's the nice principal. I pointed to the faceless figure. Who's that? Mia looked at me like I had asked something obvious. That's the girl who waits in my room when I sleep. Claire dropped her coffee mug. I asked Mia what the girl wanted. Mia kept coloring. She says school starts soon. That night at 11:47 p.m. I stood in the hallway outside my daughter's bedroom, with Jenna's old lighter in one hand. I have kept it all these years. I don't know why it still works. From behind Mia's door, I heard children whispering. Then a bell. Then Harrow's voice. Daniel Ross. I struck the lighter. The whispering stopped. For a moment the hall smelled like chalk dust and smoke. Then Mia's door opened by itself. My daughter was asleep in bed, moonlight on her face. Normal. Safe. But on her wall, written in ash, were 5 words. Parents may not attend class. I have not slept since. Tonight is December 17th. Tomorrow at 11:47 p.m. Google Maps will open. I already know the route will be waiting. I also know I won't be able to ignore it this time. Because this morning, Mia asked me if I knew the school song. I said no. She smiled and sang it anyway. Blackwood Wolves never quit. Blackwood Wolves remember. If you miss the final bell, you will stay forever. I asked where she learned it. She said the girl in her room taught her. Then she asked why the girl has Mommy's face. Not Claire's. Jenna's. So I am recording this because I need someone to understand. Some places are not haunted because people died there. Some places are haunted because they learned what people are. Blackwood learned bells, names, attendance, rules, fear, obedience. It learned how children trust adults. It learned how adults still fear being judged. It learned that everyone carries a classroom inside them, a place where they are still late, still ashamed, still waiting to be called on. And if a place can learn you well enough, maybe it doesn't need walls. Maybe it doesn't need a road. Maybe it doesn't need to exist during the day. Maybe all it needs is one open door, one wrong turn, one student who answers when their name is called. So if your GPS ever tells you to turn onto a road that isn't there, do not turn. If you see a school standing in the trees after midnight, do not go inside. If you hear a bell ring at 11:47 p.m., cover your ears. And if a teacher calls your name from a room you have never entered, do not answer. Some schools never close. They only wait for the next class. The end.